So what happened then?
Maybe 6 or 7 boys, local boys, to the area that we were in, came into the venue we were at and instantly started some trouble. Said, look guys, I'm not running. And before I could finish, I felt a stab to my lower stomach. I got into the car and just as I sat in, I felt, nah, and someone stabbed me there as well. So literally that much more and it would have gone straight round into my neck.
I'm Bear Grylls and I'm embarking on an epic journey from the spectacular Poole Harbour, home to the Scouts, all the way along to Devon, home of the Royal Marines Commandos. So strap in and join me as we travel along some of Britain's most stunning coastline.
We are heading out to Brownsea Island, the site of the first ever scout camp that we talked about, and to find out a bit more about this incredible man's life and his upbringing and some of his adventures. But these stories are going to blow your mind. Be ready.
So have you ever actually been on that island then?
I have, yeah. And I was writing my first ever book, and I just got back from Everest. I was just leaving the military, and I heard about this island in Poole Harbour, and I thought that would be a cool place to try and write a book. Tracked down the owners, said, could I winter sit it for you? I chop some logs, I look after the place, caretake it. And they said, okay, I need a boat. I was walking along the Thames in London with one of my great buddies. I just met Shara. Okay, so we weren't married, I just met her. I thought she's a great girl. We started going out. And so I walked along the river path. I saw this old rickety fishing boat, like much smaller than this. Like covered in rust and weeds and a bird poo everywhere. And a little 20 horsepower on the back. And it said, for sale, 600 quid.
Bloody hell.
And the name of the boat?
What?
Shara.
Oh, really?
S-H-A-R-A.
No.
Pretty unusual name.
Serendipity.
It was a sign. So I bought the boat. And I used that boat to go from there to Green Island over there. It was that little island.
That one there?
That's it. And I spent the winter there and wrote my first ever book on Green Island. And then the fact that I was right next to Brownsea, who would know that I'd go on to end up as all of that stuff. So this is a place that's close to my heart. So to bring you here, I love.
No, I get a sense that there's something spiritual here. It's a special place, man. It really is.
This is Brownsea Island. So what was your upbringing like, Dwayne?
I started off life very free. I started off life as this almost feral kid growing up in Jamaica, had woodlands, fields, forests all around me, and that was a dream. And you imagine picking up that kid and dropping me in London. And I remember it being such a shock to get off that plane, and the entire way home I was looking for the fields and I was looking for the forest, because when you're a kid, you
expect that. You hadn't really been to a city?
No, never. I mean, I didn't even know buildings had more than 2 floors. I remember just thinking, right, there's no woods, there's no trees, there's no forests, where are they? And I remember the very first time I stepped foot in the house, and when I opened the curtains, it was this concrete space, which was like 3 meters by 6 meters or whatever it was. And I thought, this is the saddest thing that I could see, that I could find out here. I struggled to make friends. I didn't know how things worked. I couldn't find a place in the new world I'd come into. I realized at that point, I couldn't survive in this world being Dwayne, being the Dwayne Fields from, rural Jamaica. I had to adapt, I had to change, I had to succumb to what everyone else was and just be like them. And the saddest thing is I carried on that behavior, that process all the way through from that age to 20, 21 years old. And I think it got me in a few scrapes. It got me stabbed.
So what happened then?
I was out with some friends, and maybe 6 or 7 boys, local boys, to the area that we were in, came into the venue we were at and instantly started some trouble. So I looked at my friends, I said, look, let's just go. You guys go outside, go to the car, I'll get the others and then we'll leave. I went back, got 2 more of my friends, and we started walking down the road to avoid these guys, and they chased us. I decided to stop and try to reason with them. I said, look guys, I'm not running. I have no problems with you. And before I could finish, I felt a stab to my lower stomach, and out of the blue, the car that my friends drove in came. I got into the car, and just as I sat in, I felt, nah, and someone stabbed me there as well. So literally that much more, and it would have gone straight round into my neck. I've had a gun pulled on me. I built a moped from scratch, built this thing, bought some parts, found some parts at a scrapyard, put this thing together, and I sent my younger brother out to test ride it this time because that's what they're there for. And
obviously.
Yeah, of course. And it works perfectly. And some boys a few minutes away from us took the bike, and he's pushed off of it. And I marched onto this estate, which is probably the stupidest thing that you could do. But I thought to myself, that's mine, I worked on it, I put effort into it, I put time into it. And I demanded it back, snatched it out of his hand. And again, foolishly thinking, that will be the end of it. I've got my bike back, I've won. He pushed me as I went to walk away, and out of anger, frustration, I don't know, a lifetime of just pent up aggression, I turned around and I pushed him back. And out of embarrassment, he walked away and he came back with a loaded gun about a minute or two later. And he was maybe 4 or 5 meters away from me. And he pointed the gun at me, and I stood up, pushed my brother to the side, and before I could say you don't have to, I heard a click. And he cocked it, and I saw a bullet come out the side. And he did it again. And before he could do it a third time, the guys out there kind of grabbed him, 7 or 8 other people kind of grabbed him and said, "No, you don't have to." And I remember being so thankful that it misfired both times. And I remember on the way home, I couldn't believe it had misfired both times. I kept stopping and just double checking, maybe I'm bleeding, I don't know it. And the biggest issue wasn't that he'd tried to shoot me. The biggest issue was that so many people around me were saying, "Dwayne, you need to get this guy back. Dwayne, he tried to get you, you need to, do something." And I thought, I don't want to. I just want to be me. I want to be real version of myself. I'm happy I'm here. I want to stop people like him doing that to other people. I want to stop other people turning into people like him. That's the world I grew up in. That's what some of my experiences were.
To have 2 misfires like that on a live, I mean, that's, somebody was looking out for you.
Yeah.
And somebody wanted you around for so much more, and look what the sort of fruit of your life has been, the legacy of so much you've done since has been.
There's been so many instances where I've been very lucky and are blessed, fortunate. And
Tell me about the time you were homeless.
I've been homeless twice. I think the last time I was homeless, I was kicked out of the house. My mum had a very difficult time with my father and my come about in this world. And it all erupted one night. She said, "Look, just get out and go." And I left home. I left with a bag on my back and a black bin bag in my hand. Sometimes we carry a shame that we shouldn't have to carry. Like being homeless isn't something to be ashamed of. It's a situation that you're in. But I felt shame. So I walked. I remember I walked from North London to South London and back again, so I wouldn't have to sleep in the park on the bench. I think it was day 5 or 6. I snuck onto a train. And I spent the whole night terrified that maybe there's going to be an engineer or cleaners, they're going to kick me off, I'm going to get in trouble. But in the morning, this man, I'm going to say he's a Sikh man because he had a turban on, he froze and I froze, and I thought, right, he's going to yell at me. He looked at me and he said, "You okay?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Did you sleep there?" And I said, "Yes." And he showed me a ring and he said, "You see this ring?" He said, "It's a nice ring, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, it's a nice ring." He said, "Well, that had to be beaten and burnt and bent to make it beautiful." And he said to me, "That's probably what's happening to you." And the moment I stepped off the train, I felt like, actually, maybe he's right. Maybe there's something bigger. Maybe there's a reason why I'm going through all of this. I got myself together and I just went on this amazing journey where I just wanted to do more and be more and see more and offer more.
And how did you go from that to ending up standing on top of the world at the North Pole?
So I was looking for something to do that I can stand on a platform and shout, there's another way, there's other things you can do. And I saw Ben Fogle and James Cracknell talking on BBC Breakfast one morning about rowing across the Atlantic, and their next plan was to go to the South Pole. And I didn't pay much attention until I heard we're looking for a 3rd member to join our team. I thought, wow. Even I reached out a few weeks later and I was told, "Look, selections have started, it'd be unfair to put you in now. Would you consider going to the North Pole?" So I just said, yeah. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what training, what equipment. I didn't know what skills I'd need, but I just said yeah because it was a way out.
And then how long was the expedition? What was that like?
This expedition was epic. It was 22 days of the coldest weather I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
I mean, it was trekking 18 hours a day,
Wow.
It was sleeping on ice. It was waking up and your sleeping bags covered in ice. It was so many horrible things, but it was so great at the same time because I felt like I was doing what was meant for me and what was natural for me.
And
So
do you
it felt
remember
right.
the actual North Pole moment?
I remember the moment arriving at the Mag North and looking at it and thinking, damn, that bit of ice looks the exact same as a bit of ice 100, 200, 300, 400 miles back that way. But honestly, for me, it was so symbolic because we are at the point that I set myself the target to get to. And now I can go back and say to all the naysayers and all the people who supported me, look, I did it. You thought I couldn't. Imagine what else you think you can't do. Think about how you can make it happen.
So what would you say to the young Dwayne that's just been stabbed?
Young Dwayne that's just been stabbed, don't wait so long, go and chase your dreams now. I'd say to young Dwayne, be confident. You are better, you're more equipped, you're more adaptable, you're more dynamic, you're more confident than you might even think. And I'd say that to any other young person out there.
Is that what your foundation does? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so the foundation's brilliant. The foundation's about finding young people just like me who are from disadvantaged backgrounds. It doesn't matter what colour you are, what beliefs you believe. It's just if you're coming from a place where opportunities might not be so readily available, we're looking for you and we're going to support you. And we're taking the first group ever to Antarctica this year. We've got enough money to take 10 young people. It's going ahead. I've put everything in place. We've fundraised. I've walked the length of Britain to raise money for this. So it's going to happen. It's definitely happening. We're taking at least 10 people. We're still fundraising for more.
What I know is that Baden Powell and all of the Scouting family around the world are going to be so inspired to hear your story, and he would be listening just going, wow, this is what Scouting is about. It's about that spirit of never give up.
Absolutely.
However hard life gets, and
Yeah.
you are such a living embodiment to that and a great inspiration to so many of us, and we've always got your back. We're going to cheer you on, and thank you for all you do for so many.
No, thanks to Scouts. They came to me at a time when I needed the support. I needed a family. I needed a support network, and I needed friends. And you know, I was 7, 8 years old, couldn't find friends in school, couldn't make friends outside of school, a fish out of water, and I found a place within the Scouts.
And that is what Scouting is about. Give us
Sweet.
a hug.
Come on, man.
We love
Bring
you
it in.
very much. Okay, so it's 8 a.m. and we're going to try and get Dwayne up tandem with Jack. I'm going to fly. We've got Jesse over there as well. And then Dwayne's heading home. So to give him a fun final adventure experience with the team, let's do it.
So right now I'm feeling a bit of excitement, a bit of apprehension.
Of course, natural.
But I want to go. And I think that's the key thing. I want to go and do this.
Put this on like a backpack.
Yeah, you are good.
Take a step back.
Step back.
That was something else.
There you go,
Fantastic. Best thing ever.
Smashed it.
Oh, that was amazing.
It was pretty cool, isn't it?
Have I not done this before?
I know.
Even now, I'm excited. I'm having fun. It was brilliant.
Yeah, well done. Jack, great flying as always.